These are some small bins. There's not enough time to go through this stuff. I'm going to say this a few times here soon. This is all Taco Bell toys, McDonald's toys. This is all Star Wars. This bin is all 3-inch accessories, Kenner 3-inch accessories, cycle bike, that's all Kenner 3-inch Star Wars stuff. And what is this? This is all Kenner 3-inch Star Wars accessories, medallions, stand plates, weapons, other accessories. This one is, this is all Taco Bell toys and Pez dispensers. Lots and lots of Star Wars Pez dispensers, small keychains, more Taco Bell toys, yo-yos, little micro figures, more Pez dispensers. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, this is not a digital drum kit. This is actually puzzles on boxes. There's a Lucky Charms Batman mask. I don't know why I kept that. I mean, I don't really collect Batman stuff. That's cool, but I don't know if I got space for cereal boxes sometimes. Pink Floyd puzzle, 1,000-piece Pink Floyd album covers puzzle. That's so sweet. What else we got in here? There's a Pink Floyd puzzle, the chair. That is a groovy puzzle. And what do we got here? Oh, AC/DC history of puzzle. A lot of cool stuff there, album covers. I dig the groovy rock and roll puzzles. Okay, and keep in mind we're changing t-shirts for every bin. This is a Star Paris. This is Arts de Paris episode 1. This was an exhibit in Paris. I didn't get to go to the exhibit, but I did get the t-shirt. This bin is all Marvel stuff. To be perfectly honest, I have just way too much stuff to really display and look at everything. There's absolutely no way that we can go through and look at every item. It's just not possible. Oh man. This bin is all Marvel stuff. It's all basically contemporary Marvel Universe. A lot of Captain America stuff from the Captain America movie, the Avengers movie. This is a cool. This is probably one of the few vintage items in the bin. The Electric Company Spidey Stories album, and this is actually Morgan Freeman playing Spider-Man on those. But there's way too much stuff in these bins to go through. Bobbleheads, 12-inch figures, 90s Toy Biz figures, Captain America vehicle, all kinds of Spider-Man figures. This thing is absolutely full of Marvel stuff. So let's just leave it at that for right now. Okay, this next bin is another one of those bins that are so full of stuff that we just don't have time to look at everything in the bin. This is all Kiss. This is mostly contemporary, everything from the Kiss puzzles, albums, Kiss Potato Heads, CDs, action figures, some of the solo albums are in there. There's some other small toys. These items were in there, and I'm not going to wear these t-shirts. I just wanted to show these. This is a Gene Simmons, this is a remix of Calling Dr. Love that some house company music company did. This is a t-shirt from the remix of Calling Dr. Love that some house music company remixed or recut. And this is a promotional t-shirt from that. That's pretty cool. Got that for $3 at a yard sale of all places. This is a Kiss tour shirt from when they came through Charlotte last year and I got to meet them. And this is the official shirt from the tour. So that's pretty cool. There's so much cool stuff in here. I'd love to be able to talk about everything, but you can't talk about everything. But these figures are just awesome. awesome figures. I just got these last year. And these are just beautiful recreations of the 70s Migos. They are really, really close to the original Migos. And they're just, I mean, awesome packaging. They're a little more expensive than I thought they should have been, but I'm really glad to have these, and these are awesome, awesome figures. Okay, the next bin is, this is all Star Wars stuff. Once again, this bin is absolutely full of 3-inch Kenner dewbacks, tauntauns, ATSTs, snow speeders. There's a TIE Fighter. There's some AT-AT. There's a little walking wind-up AT-AT. The Wampa. Oh gosh, what else is in here? There's a big G.I. Joe 30 millimeter anti-aircraft gun that's huge, and it's actually in pieces in here. It's taken apart, but it's just, there's no way we can look at all of this stuff. But as you can see, there's a pretty full bin. There's a couple of pieces that have been taken out that we showed earlier. And this actually should be in there. This is the Y-Wing, and I have the extenders from this, and even have the Y-Wing pilot and the correct droid to go in there, which I think is a R5D4. And that actually should, look at this. Boom. This is all Hulk stuff. This is almost all contemporary. There are a couple of small vintage pieces in here, but this is almost all from the last 5 to 7 years. And there's everything in here, Marvel Universe figures, the Mighty Mug, the Pop Mug, so the kind of Fisher-Price looking toys. The giant Hulk Pez dispensers in there. This whole section down here is all Hulk 3 and 5-inch action figures, Hasbro, Toy Biz, etc. Piggy bank. There's a mask. There's some of the Dr. Pepper cans from the Avenger movies. Some of the accessories from the larger Hulk figures are in there. The mini Marvel mugs from the Avengers movie. The Incredible Hulk Toy Biz from the 90s. The Incredible Hulk Panda Bear, Incredible Hulk keychain, kids Halloween costume, cups, glasses. There's some balls. There's an Avengers ball. The rubber bendy Hulk, the Hulk poster. I mean, this thing is just, this right here is just an awesome piece of Hulkness, and I don't even think we need to pull all this stuff out. Okay, this next bin is I mean, this is a big bin, and it's absolutely chock stoked full of Iron Man, classic Iron Man, and The Thing. We've set up a couple of the items from, in here. It's predominantly contemporary. There's a couple of vintage items in there, but it's mostly contemporary. Marvel Universe, bobbleheads, Mighty Mugs, Iron Man Transformer. What do we got? All kinds of 3-inch action figures, some Toy Biz, some Marvel Universe. Iron Man boxer shorts, Iron Man underwear, Iron Man sweatpants, the Thing video game, Mini Mates Thing, Mini Mates Iron Man, all different. Just it's all Iron Man and Thing, and it's all classic Iron Man and Thing. Toy Biz, Marvel Legends, Toy Biz, bobblehead. Here's a couple of Iron Man DVDs, the figure from Iron Man 2 comic series. This is I don't know who this is. I think it's Toy Biz. But you know, I'd love to bring out this whole bin and display all this Iron Man and Thing stuff, because set up and displayed, it's really, really cool, but you just don't have time to do that. And you guys don't have time to look at it. I don't have time to set it up. So yeah, Iron Man, Thing, feel it. Okay, here's just a couple of miscellaneous items. Iron Man mini statue, the Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man Galaga video game. This is from the Ivory Bastards film that I was in as Fango Electrico, and this is a genuine, custom-made, custom-ordered Mexican wrestler mask. This isn't a cheap copy. This is actually the real thing. That was made by a company in Mexico, and that's just a really cool item. World Wrestling belt for the character, some Ivory Bastard cards that I made, Ivory Bastard movies, you know, just different memorabilia from that film, just to kind of keep it for, you know, my own ego, I suppose. But that Mexican, the Fango Electrico mask is like really, really cool that it's a real Mexican wrestling mask. And this bin is a small bin, and it's all baseball cards. We looked at some others earlier. I mean, like, you know, just got Mark McGuire, Rocky Marciano, Roberto Clemente, Yogi Berra, Bo Jackson, James Worthy, Barry Bonds. I've got some Mickey Mantles in here. There's Jose Canseco. There's some Garbage Pail Kids. Cal Ripken Jr., just a lot of, you know, different stuff, but mainly ball cards. There's some Strangers in Paradise collector's cards, and that's a whole set. That's the whole set of the Strangers in Paradise, if you know what that is. Jack Dempsey, here's some boxing cards. These are all classic. Sugar Ray Leonard, and some baseball cards mixed in with that. But these are all pretty notable names on all of these cards. And this bin is actually usually all the way full, but we pulled some out the other day and they need to go back in here. So that's it for this. Let's check next thing out. Okay, this bin is all 12-inch figures, mostly Star Wars, not all Star Wars, but mostly 12-inch figures and some other stuff. Boba Fett backpack, lightsabers, the Darth Vader one. This is really the cool one. I don't think it has batteries. Oh. Anyways. Pencil cases. Mostly 12-inch figures, but some really cool 12-inch figures, man. Yep, there he is. Planet of the Apes. That's from the 90s, but man, that's a cool figure. Here's a 12-inch R5D4. What else we got here? A custom Ghostface. I actually made this, believe it or not. I destroyed a 12-inch Emperor from Star Wars to make him, but I didn't like the figure. It was kind of crappy, so I thought that I'd just make something else out of it. Here's a 12-inch Boba Fett. These are all contemporary figures. These aren't vintage. Giger's Alien. Also a very, very cool figure. He's gonna fall. Here's another Universal Monsters. There's the Frankenstein. Oh, this is a awesome, cool figure. The 12-inch Zuckuss is, man, that is just such a brilliant 12-inch figure. Oh, we got Vader. Oh boy. Some of these. Oh, this is the vintage Chewbacca from Kenner. This is 1977, 78, 79. That's a groovy figure, not contemporary. And mostly Star Wars figures, but all 12-inch figures. Here's a pretty cool one, a 12-inch Tusken Raider. And of course I have all of their accessory in the box, in these, you know, plastic bags. I have all their stuff. But the rest of this bin is just full of this stuff. I mean, just 12-inch figure after 12-inch figure. Most of them Star Wars, and most of them contemporary. Blaster. Oh, Star Trek phaser. This is cool. This is the original Kenner 1978, 79 Boba Fett. He's got some problems and he's not complete. He's not in great shape, but you know, 12-inch R2-D2. And I guess that's all we have room to pull out of this bin, but trust me, it's action-packed full Yoda. Okay. So let's move on to the next bin. Okay, next bin, this is all some box stuff, kind of some fun, weird stuff here. Tron, this was reduced, a shelf warmer, Tron movie toys from 2011, but I liked it, man. I thought some of these, you know, were really cool figures. Holographic face, you know. Oh wow, here's some more boxed G.I. Joe vintage reproductions, and that's a really nice one, man. Check that guy out. That's really a cool figure, you know. Wow, some more boxed reproduction Joes, Action Sailor. And there's another one. Let's see, is this the same guy? Same guy, blonde, but he's blonde. Action Sailor, dude. Okay, don't tell your mom and don't tell my friends, but I have the complete Spice Girls 12-inch collection. Yes, I know. After I saw Toy Story, I started thinking that my G.I. Joes might start getting lonely for some lady friends. So I got these and managed to keep them. And I mean, it's kind of like having a Michael Jackson doll or a Gerardo doll or a Corey Feldman doll. It's just something, you know. Got the whole band. Sporty, Porsche, Baby, Ginger, Scary. Some other cool stuff in here. Big Boy from Shoney's, you know, for us in the South. That's kind of cool. There's some other miscellaneous stuff in here. McDonald's toys, Mini Slinky, a barista figure, Mr. Potato Head. So what we have here is one of my favorite pieces because of its weirdness. This is a Pinocchio doll. I got this in a consignment store. I think the guy gave it to me because I bought a couple of Ninja Turtles. And the guy just said I could have it. And I thought it was weird. I thought, oh, it's Disney. You know, it might be collectible. Who knows, it might be valuable if it's an official Disney, you know, toy. But I thought it was interesting and weird. So I said, yeah, throw it in my bag, thanks. So a little later, maybe a couple of days later, it was sitting in the corner of the room. And I noticed something strange about him. I noticed that kind of he looked like he had a little something going on down there. And I thought that was kind of odd. And I walked over and I looked at him and I thought, well, geez, it totally looks like he's got a little something going on down there in his little Pinocchio shorts. And, you know, I'm an artist, so I guess I had to find out, you know, or I don't know. I had to, you know, okay, so I looked in his shorts to see what that was. And wow, this is a anatomically correct Pinocchio doll. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube and the kids are in the room, send the kids out of the room because we're about to get graphic here. I've never seen a toy like this. I kept it because I don't have many toys that actually have penises. And then I just told you what we're about to see, but I figured it's best to warn you. But this Pinocchio is anatomically correct. Look at that. Is that just not the craziest thing you ever saw? He's got a belly button. He's even, excuse me, he's even got a little pee hole. And this is just one of the weirdest freaking toys I've ever seen. A part of me thinks and hopes that this wasn't some toy that therapists maybe would use to analyze what might have happened to a child. You know, little Timmy, point to the spot where, you know, dirty Uncle Jimmy touched you, or some crap like that. And then they use this doll. I hope it's not that, but whatever it is, this is one of the strangest toys I've ever seen, and I just I don't have the heart to sell it, but it's funny because no one's ever offered to buy it. But there you have it. I guess we should move on to the next bin. Okay. Okay. This is Star Wars books. This is all from one small bin here. It's basically full. These are all Star Wars novels and different Star Wars books. Some of the notable ones, Han Solo at Star's End, Han Solo and the Lost Legacy. These are actually the old, some of the original printings. First time in print for this one. This is really cool. This is the very first edition of Star Wars in paperback. This one, I think, one of these actually came out before the film was released, and I think it's this one, and this one was released right after the film was released. So this one right here is actually a very notable book, and a lot of these, you know, from the whole Star Wars galaxy, the Timothy Zahns, the Tales of the Bounty Hunters. This is another one that's pretty old, and really, all of these are in really kind of nice shape. Empire Strikes Back novelization, the making of The Empire Strikes Back. I actually read that. That's a really cool book. Some of these covers are really nice, and some of these editions are really nice. This is an older edition. Actually, this is, okay, I apologize. Those aren't, one of those aren't the ones that came out before the movie came out. This is the one that came out before the film was released. Right now, here it says soon to be a spectacular motion picture from 20th Century Fox. So this is the poop right here. That's the one. And we have other Return of the Jedi pop-up book. This is in really good shape. I'm not going to pull it out, but this is in really good condition. Star Wars storybook. If I'm not mistaken, these are all, I don't think this is vintage, but the pop-up book is vintage. This is not vintage, this is from the 90s, but this is the catalog inventory book for the 90s Power of the Force releases, and this is a great book for resourcing and checking to see if you got the right blaster on the right figure, and this is just a beautifully illustrated book. I mean, absolutely, totally well done. And Star Wars Galaxy, The Art of Star Wars. This is one of the card series. This is a lot of the art from the card series. But this is a really nice book of a lot of the artwork, you know, of the last 10, 15 years. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is a bin of Bettie Page stuff. This is probably most of the Bettie Page stuff I have, but it's not all of it. But there's some books, Va-Va-Voom. This has some I don't know where it is, but it has a section in here on Betty, you know, why that's in here. Life and Legend of a Pinup. This is a really cool book. And this is also about when they actually refound Bettie Page several years before her passing. That she was actually rediscovered and refound, and talked to these writers and authors and made this book with them. Queen of Pinup, you know, it's just a pretty much a picture book of Bettie Page stuff. And this is a Playboy, and I don't remember what this is, but if I have it in here, there must be a Bettie Page article or a retrospective of some type in this magazine. This is just an ad, one of those little Vegas Prosto ads, but it actually had a picture of Bettie Page, so I thought that was interesting. Playboy, this has got a thing on Dinah, who, you know, homages Bettie Page all the time. That's why that's in there. There's a 3D image of Betty Page in this magazine. There's a couple of 3D swimsuit pics, and there's a Betty Page picture. So that goes in there. This is an Italian erotic comic book, and there's a Betty Page photo article in here. So that's in the Betty Page collection. Real Smut comic book, and there's a little Betty Page story in here, guest starring Miss Betty Page. So that's in here. Betty Page in Jungleland. This is some of the photography with her and the chieftain put together in kind of a little balloon talkie type of comic strip format. That's pretty cool. And then there's a copy of Ultrafilm Facts that features Betty Page, a painting, I can't remember the painter's name, that does the really recognizable Betty Page paintings. Was this a bobblehead? It's a cardboard stand-up. Some DVDs. Here's all the Betty Page documentaries: Girl in the Leopard Print Bikini, The Notorious Betty Page, the film, I can't remember, what's the actress's name? Gretchen Mol. Yeah, Gretchen Mol that played Betty Page. This is some of Betty Page's original Irving Klaw films. Betty Page, Dark Angel. This was a, wow. This was a really interesting take on the Betty Page thing. It's not really fiction, it's not really a documentary, but that's a really interesting film. And then this is from Pinup to Sex Queen. This is the True Hollywood story on Betty Page, which is a really, maybe the best documentary about Betty Page. And now this is probably the, oh, here's a Betty Page on a 45, picture there. These actually were given to me by my brother David, and he gives me a lot of Betty Page stuff and Betty Page cards. Betty Page on the cover of My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, Sexplosion. That's an awesome album too. 2 copies of that. But sorry, my brother David got these pictures. He was going through a dumpster where they had dumped, this old man had passed away, and they were just dumping all of his belongings in a dumpster. A lot of old cameras and a lot of old nudie photographs like this. Some of them were Tempest Storm, some other like burlesque vaudeville names that you would recognize. And in there were some Betty Page pictures. At the time, my brother David did not know who Betty Page was, but he recognized her from some imagery that he had seen that I had. And he thought that this might be the model from some of those pictures that I had. So he grabbed them and he gave them to me. And I have had them ever since. These are some of my favorite, if not my favorite, most profound Betty Page items. These are original photographs. These are original printings from the negatives. They were probably printed in the 40s, early 40s, late 40s. Some of these are yellowed a little bit. Some of these cards, I think those are newer cards. But these are just some great original examples of some of Betty Page's photography. And interestingly enough, that she's nude in all of them. She's not costumed, which is also a little bit significant, So that's it. Let's move on to the next bin. All DC toys, and a couple of things that aren't toys, but mainly toys. Super Friends DVD, Detective Comics calendar. I mean, some really just awesome artwork in this thing. Really cool calendar there. So what is this? Girls Rule. Awesome. Right on. Another Girls Rule bag. And then almost all of the 3.5-inch Green Lantern movie figures, I got almost all of them. They were real shelf warmers. They were good figures, but they were overpriced. I think if they'd gave them a lower price, they would have sold better. But they were overpriced, and you're not gonna pay too much for a figure that's not greatly done. But I managed to get a lot of them, and I don't think I paid full price for any of this Green Lantern stuff from the movies. But I actually got some really quite cool Green Lantern figure movie stuff. It's all DC stuff, a lot of different figures. Most of it is contemporary. There's a little bit of vintage, but not much. But a lot of the Green Lantern movie figures. Plushy Green Lantern guy. There's a Joker, that's like the Fisher-Price kind of toys, Superhero Squad, I think. There's a Flash, Superman from the kind of recent movies. I think I got like a yard sale at a quarter. Lex Luthor shampoo. These little cars, the Fisher-Price cars, are pretty cool. There's a Wonder Woman. All kinds of, oh, this is a pretty cool Green Lantern. Everybody loves Green Lantern, so you know there's a Green Lantern ship, green plane. This is all just, you know, more DC stuff. You know, there's Superman's dog, Crypto, but lots and lots of Green Lantern movie figures. Some Wonder Woman stuff here and there. There's the Little People Wonder Woman. So I guess that's pretty much about the gist of this bin. It's all, you know, Superman, Batman, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, and a lot of stuff. Oh, this is really cool. The Wonder Woman Pez, and that's actually old. This is actually vintage. I'm not sure, but I think that's late 70s, early 80s. But I think that does it to illustrate this bin. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is a lot of the glasses and cups. This is most of them out of the cabinet in the kitchen where I stash them. Obviously the Marvel goblets. These are all new. These are all contemporary. All of these I've probably gotten in the last year and a half, with the exception of this one, which is actually vintage. This is from 1978 and Shazam, and it's a great, you know, there's no scratches on it, no marks on it. It's just a awesome example of good glass lithography. The Hulk, you know, these are just really cool glasses, but they're all contemporary. So, you know, they're not really valuable, but that's fine. I don't really care. I'm leaning down because I'm kind of tired. We're kind of beat here. We've been really busting this. But these are all the guys out of the cabinet up there. So, you know, let's move to the next thing.